Hi everyone, it's me Jay again. So in this video I'll show you how to create your first React component. So I went ahead and created a new project, and I deleted everything inside the source file, a directory, because I want to show you how to make it from scratch, make everything from scratch and create your own components. So the first thing you need to do is create the index.js file. Inside the index.js, import the tool library React and React DOM, and use the React DOM.render to render your components. Okay, so the React DOM library, the React DOM.render takes two arguments. The first argument is the component that you want to render, the JSX component, and if you don't have any component, which I don't have any component for now, you can pass it an HTML tag or just a string. Okay, so in this case I passed it just a string, normal string, and then the second parameter, second argument is the location where all the React component will be injected. So, and we said all our React component will be inside this, compiled and injected inside of this over here, this div. So if we go over here back, we selected that div and we give it to the React.render, React DOM.render. And this, if we save it and go to the browser, this will actually should render. And as you can see, hello React. And if you want to change something, hello React again, and this should render again. Okay, so as you can see, this is very simple, but we don't actually want to render just some string. Okay, we want to render a React JSX element, okay, component. So first thing you need to do is create a file and give it a name. So okay, I need to create a file, not rename. Create a file, new file, and give it a name. And so I'm going to give it the name app.js. Okay, so the first thing you need to do inside this component, inside every component, the first thing you need to do is import the React library. Okay, and I'm going to do import React from React. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. Import the React library. Second, and let's start with our component. So let's build the component. So there's two types of components. There's functional components and class components. Basically, function component is a function that will return some JSX, and the class component is a basically a JSX, a JavaScript class that have multiple methods and lifecycle methods and just not normal methods and attributes that will render to the DOM. So I'm not going to get into the class components. I'm just going to go over the basic one for now, the functional component. So to create a function component, we just need to make a function. So function, and give it a name, and usually you want to have the name of the component the same as the name of the file, because this makes it easier to read and look for components. Okay, so, and in here we're going to return some JSX. So inside over here we can return a div, and inside the div we can return an h1, and over here we say hello React. Okay, so now that we created our first component, we need to export it and import it into our index.js, because remember, the index.js is the entry, is where React takes all our components and injects them to the DOM. Okay, so over here we need to export it. So we can say export default and app. Okay, so you don't have to say export default, but if you have only one thing to export from this file, you want to say export default. Okay, because this makes it easier. You can import it as you can import this component with whatever name you want to. Okay, if you say export default, but if you if you have multiple things to export from this file, you can say export. So you can say export like this. So you can say export, and this will export this app function. And then if you go to the index.js, in here you can import it, and there's two ways to import it. So you can say import from, and the path to the component app. Okay, you can import it like this and give it the name of the component, which is app. Okay, you can import it like this, or you can import it like this without the two curly braces. But you would have to do export defaults. Okay, so however, this is just a JavaScript thing, so you don't have to worry about it. So moving on. So that now that we imported the component, our first component, we can remove this and feed our component to the React.render. So we can say app. Okay, and remember to close your JSX tag. Basically, JSX is not like it's not like HTML where self-closing tags are just, you can not have the slash. You can just keep it like this. In JSX, this will throw an error. You have to have the closing. So let me actually snap this over here, and so you see this in real updating in real time. Okay. So okay, and let's go over here. So as you can see, it says hello React, and now if we go over here and change something in our component, let's say hello React from app.js, save it, this will render and display it over here. So now we created our first component, and obviously you can make your own logic over here. You can say if something do this and that, display this component and display that component. But this is the basic of it. You just create a component, you create a file, and inside that file you create a function, and that function return some JSX. And one more thing to mention in this video before I go is that when you return a JSX elements, you have to wrap it with a parent element. Okay, so you can only have one parent element, so you can't go out of the div and say over here say h1 like this. This will actually throw an error. So you can return only one JSX parent element. Okay, so you have to have this inside over here. This will work. Otherwise, if you have it outside, it's not gonna work. Okay.